Hey, this is Pastor Michael Yuricha, and I want to invite you to hit that like and subscribe button and drop us a comment if you will. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you receive all of our updates. God bless you. Come on, let's get to the Word.
So after they set Daniel up, these crooked politicians began to surveil Daniel. They began intercepting his emails and tapping his phone, y'all. They went to spy on him, but Daniel had nothing to hide. The Bible says he opened his windows for all to see. I don't care what your mandate is. I don't care what your edict is. Verse 13. Then they said to the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles of Judah, he pays no attention to you, your majesty, or the decree that you put in writing. He's still praying 3 times a day. What a wicked, evil man. When the king heard this, he was greatly distressed. He was determined to rescue Daniel and make every effort until sundown to save him. Now, King Darius wasn't angry and furious like King Nebuchadnezzar was with the 3 Hebrew boys. You remember when they wouldn't bow down? The Bible says Nebuchadnezzar, he was fit to be tied, right? But not Darius. He was greatly distressed because he had an affection for Daniel. Remember, Daniel was in his 90s, probably like a father to Darius. Daniel had an excellent spirit, and Darius knew it. He was a great asset to the kingdom. He was a great asset to the king. He was a true man of integrity. Listen, church, if we have an excellent spirit, we should be a blessing to our company, not a burden. We should be an asset, not a liability. We should be a problem solver, not the problem. Darius also now realizes that he was set up by these other conniving politicians. Verse 15, watch. Then the men went as a group to King Darius and said to him, remember, your majesty, that according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel, now a 90-year-old frail man, and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, may your God whom you serve continually rescue you. A stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring, with the rings of his nobles, so that Daniel's situation might not be changed. Now, let me just pause there for a minute. Does that remind you of another person who was placed in a tomb with a stone? Come on, Judah, what's my 2 favorite words? But God. Then the king returned to his palace and spent the night without eating, without any entertainment being brought in, no YouTube. And he could not sleep. So Darius is upset that he was snookered. But because of the type of the decree he made, even the king, he knew he could not change the outcome. He was legally bound. In other words, you're done, Daniel. There's no escaping now. Checkmate. Let me tell you a true story. Can I have my next slide up here, please? This is a very, very famous painting. It's entitled simply Checkmate. A young chess master traveled to France back in the 1800s. It's a true story. He was to compete in a world-class chess match. Since he had a few days of leisure, he decided to visit a local museum. In the museum, they had a famous painting entitled Checkmate. As he stood there for a long time with his guide, looking and studying the painting, and his guide is thinking, why is he looking at this so long? He stared and he stared and he studied and he studied, and after a long period of time, he turned to his guide and said, my friend, that's not checkmate. The king has one more move. I'm here to tell somebody today, in this world, they might be crying out checkmate, but I want to tell you, the king has one more move. You might be in some financial distress, and bill collectors are calling your name, and they're crying out checkmate, but I'm here to tell somebody, the king has one more move. You might be going through marital challenges, your family's acting up and everything's going haywire, and the government's saying checkmate, but I'm here to tell somebody this morning, the king has one more move. You may have received a bad doctor's report. They say there's no hope, and it's checkmate. I'm telling you, the king has one more move. Even though Daniel was tossed in the lion's den and his enemies were yelling, checkmate, I'm telling you, the king has one more move. Somebody in the house of Judah, give our God 15 seconds of praise. Hey! Come on, somebody! In your life, I'm trying to tell you, the king has one more move. It's not checkmate, honey. My God.
To every nation, to every generation, to all creation, to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. To every nation, every generation, to all creation, to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ.